All right. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties, so I'm going to jump right into the chat. Danny's going to be joining me in just a second. A few reminders before we get started, and we have a special guest on later in the show today. So there's 1 week left for the August 2020 challenge, which is to sew any sew sweetness pattern using animal fabric. So any animal fabric of your choice. It could be a sea creature, fish, a zebra, monkey, dog, cat, whatever the animal fabric of your choice. And there's a link in the description if you'd like to enter a photo of your project, and 1 entry per person, please. We have almost 200 entries so far, so very excited. The prize is a $100 gift certificate to sewsweetness.com, and that's a randomly drawn prize. And I'll be announcing that on a future Sewcial Sunday show, and we'll have another challenge for you coming up in September. Also, if you're not already signed up for the newsletter, I know most of you probably already are, but there is a link in the description to sign up for the newsletter if you aren't already. We have a free gift for newsletter subscribers, which is a free PDF sewing pattern for the Oslo craft bag, and there is a free video to go along with that project. And over the years, we've seen a lot of great looking Oslo craft bags made for not only sewing supplies, but I've seen people make them for changing station, baby shower gifts, for tools, non-sewing related tools. So lots of purposes and uses for that Oslo craft bag pattern. Everything going okay, Danny?
It's going wonderful.
I know technical difficulties always stress them out a lot, but it looks like we're getting things situated over here. Our kids started school this past Thursday. Their school is all virtual, and it's a new school for them, so our kids don't know any of the teachers, any of the other students. And I have to say they did really well. I kind of tuned in a little bit to a few of their classes, and my son was answering some questions. He said there were a few classes where the teacher paired them up in groups, and then some of the other kids in the group. Actually, there was one class where my son said the other kids in his group, nobody wanted to contribute or work on the questions, and my son said, it's fine, I'll handle it, or I'm up to the work, something like that. So I was pretty proud of him for that. Virtual school has technical difficulties as well, but the teachers all sounded really great. Teachers all spent the full class period teaching, which I don't know. Teachers have a really tough job, especially now with virtual learning. And from what I could hear, it sounded like they were doing great. So kudos to all the teachers out there. I actually started exercising a few days ago. I haven't really, besides family activities like playing badminton outside, I haven't really been doing any exercises. I haven't ridden in a few months, and I think I thought this break because of the pandemic was going to be shorter than it ended up being. And so I decided, it's time to start exercising, just stop putting it off. And so I started. I have to admit, especially my core and my abs feel really sore. I know I'll get over that with a few days of exercising back on track, but I'm only doing about 30 minutes a day. A few years ago, I started using this streaming website for exercises, daily exercises. The website is called Daily Burn, and so I decided to get back on track with Daily Burn, and they post live streams of exercises every weekday, and then they have reruns on the weekend, and the exercises are usually about 50 minutes. I feel like I'm okay with doing just 30 minutes of the exercises, so let me know if you're doing anything special for getting exercise, especially if you're indoors a little bit more than you're used to. I see we've got the comments again. Thank you, Danny, for that.
Great part is the show started on Facebook right on time, but Val didn't give us notification.
Oh, so was I just...
So Facebook was live, YouTube was catching up, and our comments were not working. That's what I was working on. And gosh, wow.
So I'm sure I was sitting there with
Sweating.
a blank look on my face at
It
the
was
beginning
live
of
on
the show.
Facebook, and they probably see me running away at the start of the show, and they're like, "What the heck's going on?" Maybe I'll try to go back there and fix it. I don't know if it's gonna be available, but future shows. I'm on here an hour and a half early, preparing and testing, and I don't know what happened, but
it's fine.
I'm here.
So is it too soon to hit you up with my hummingbird pictures, Danny? as you know, if you've been watching lately, I've been taking wildlife pictures, and here's my latest. This particular hummingbird, I've been calling him tiny yet evil. So he sits on that
Yeah, he's definitely evil.
that little stake. I have 2 hummingbird feeders, and he just sits there and watches and waits for another hummingbird to come to the feeder. And then he dive bombs them when they're trying to get food. And he'll just sit on that stake for as long as he needs to, mostly in the evening. So I decided to separate the hummingbird feeders, put one in the backyard, one in the front yard. I bought a few more so that I could stagger them around the property. I noticed the one that I moved to the front yard, the hummingbirds have been able to get food, but I still see him once in a while coming to dive bomb them. So Yvonne says, Sarah is also a tech genius.
People are giving me compliments for doing a good job because I do such a wonderful job here. And I thought this was funny. She also, Danny did, was a great, tech genius as well. But I'll tell you what, that is so false, because Sarah could do something so simple and she'll want me to do it for her. I'm like, Sarah, it's quite easy. Google. There's a great website. I don't know if you guys ever check this out. It says, let me Google this for you. So what it does is when someone asks you a question, you type in this and let me Google this for you, and it will give them a link. And when it clicks this link, it shows them how to go to Google, type this in the search bar, and it finds your solution. But to me, it's quite funny how people don't rely upon Google's search, because it is so resourceful. For me, at least, it's a lot of my training and understanding of knowledge and technology. And generally, it's pretty good, but you got to try it more often, Sarah.
Or even YouTube. If you want to know how to do something, there's most everything. There's a YouTube tutorial for it, I have to say. I do understand what you're saying, where I'm being lazy and trying to hand things off to you. But I think, especially when I'm working on designing patterns, like sometimes there's just so much in my head, like I don't want to make room for more extra things. And so I just sort of hand them off to you. So that's what I'm thinking. Lori says we have 3 hummingbirds that seem to fight more than drink. Yeah, there's been a lot of fighting lately.
I did do this to Bronwyn. That's what made me think about it. It's the last time I used it was actually to Bronwyn. She asked me for help for something, and I did. Let me Google that for you.
All right, so let's get over to your pick of the week.
Absolutely. My pick. It's Sherry Elks. If I said her last name, I would totally butcher it. That is a Baker Street bag that's been 100% totally customized. Flap. The cool leather locking part. I love the little, I don't know if that's
accents on the bottom.
Yeah, that's the accents. The strap looks awesome with all this. Look how good her straighter stitches are.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the horse and the flaps there.
I did. First thing I saw.
2 thumbs up. Amazing job making it your own.
Good job, Sherry.
It looks wonderful. Beautiful bag. Excellent picture as well.
It's so amazing how different a bag can look with modifications. Like I don't know. It doesn't even. I mean this in a good way. It doesn't even look like a Rockstar bag. It looks...
well, it's not. It's a Baker Street bag, luckily.
Baker Street, sorry.
Threw you off now a little bit, didn't it?
Ooh, geez. All right. So on the Sunday show where Danny is joining me, I always like to say his second favorite part of the Sunday show. We'd like to invite all the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the So Sweetness squad. We really love so much that you're part of our community. I've actually been working on some things over the weekend. I have to talk to you about them first, so I'm not going to say it live on the show because I don't want to catch you off guard, but I'm working on some fun things for the community to get everyone involved, and I'll be announcing it on a future Sewcial Sunday show. So we are very privileged to have as our guest on the show tonight Michelle Graham. If you're part of the So Sweetness Facebook group, I'm sure 100% sure that you've seen Michelle Graham around. So thanks for joining us tonight, Michelle.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So I have a few questions for Michelle, and then Michelle will also be sticking around for the live Q&A portion. So if you have questions for Michelle anytime during the show tonight, feel free to type them in the comments either on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch Sewcial Sunday, and Danny will be collecting questions and we'll get some up for Michelle as well. So Michelle, my first question for you tonight is what inspires you to come up with a pattern hack? So if those of you watching are not familiar, Michelle designs tons of pattern hacks to go along with my patterns. So different modifications, so vertical zippers. She recently designed persimmon pattern hacks for adding like animal ears, cat, bunny, mouse to the pouches. And so, Michelle, what inspires you to come up with the pattern hacks?
I think it's just finding different ways to use the patterns to show people that there's more than just the way you set out to use the pattern. So that you can take this pattern and use it for much more than its intended purpose, right? So, for example, when I did the persimmon pouches, that you can add a little handle to it and it can make a really sweet little purse for little girls. Where you could take the shape of the persimmon. I mean, it's already shaped for an animal head or a head in general. And you can add ears and eyes and noses and stuff to it. And sadly, I actually had more animals, but I never got them all done.
That's so funny. There were so many.
Stop. I ran out of time. Yeah, I just ran out of time. I'm like, okay, when is enough? When is there? Like I had a unicorn I wanted to do, which I told somebody in the group that I wanted to do. So I've got it. That's what I ordered all that glitter vinyl for. It had the gold. It looked like Christmas when I ordered it because it was gold and red and green. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to look I'm ordering stuff for Christmas already, but I wasn't.
That's so funny. So what is your favorite pattern hack you've done so far?
So that was a tough one because that's like saying, do you have a favorite child? I love all my pattern hacks the same, but I think it would be the paladin pouch, being that it makes such a cute little purse. And I love the vertical zipper, and I love, that it can have a little wrist strap, and it just changes it up. And I find I just keep going back and making it. That's the one I just keep going and making over and over and over again.
I love the vertical zipper on that one.
The paladin. Yeah, it's fun because when you put your phone in, it's easy to access your phone, get it in and get it out really quick. Sampling pouches were super fun to make. Obviously, I did 22 hacks. I think I had a little too much fun. I keep going back to the paladin pouch. That's the one I'm drawn to. When you asked me what my favorite one was, it was really tough because I thought, that's like saying to my kids, which one's my favorite? And while I say I have a favorite son and I have a favorite daughter, I say I have a favorite human daughter. I don't say daughter because my cats are my daughters too. So I have to keep it fair. But that's my favorite. That's the one I enjoyed the most, and I love it myself. It makes a really beautiful purse, and with the different colors and patterns that you use for fabrics, it changes it up completely.
Yeah, Diane says that's my favorite too, Michelle. Yeah, the black paladin that Danny pointed out with the vertical zipper. I love how classy that looks, and it just looks super professional, I think.
And I made that for Michaela, and I don't think she's ever used it. I think it's still sitting in her closet. I don't think it's ever been used, and I'm like, I don't know if I should steal it from her and start using it myself. But
yeah,
she's never used it. It's just, I don't know if she'd be super happy if I went and stole it out of her closet of bags, but I don't understand. I'm like, she wanted it so bad, and then she got it, and I think she just she wants a bag graveyard, I think, like Mom. I think that's her thing. She just wants to have as many bags as I have in my closet.
That's so funny. Kathleen says, where are Michelle's hacks to be seen? So actually there's a link in the description for all of the pattern hacks that I posted on the So Sweetness blog so far, but Michelle has some other pattern hacks in the Facebook group that I'm working on. I'm actually working on posting one every Saturday morning on the blog, so I have a few to get to still, but you can find all of them that she's done in the Facebook group and under the files section of the group. So Michelle also runs the sew-alongs in the Facebook group. So Michelle, what can we expect from the sew-alongs going forward?
So pretty much the same thing as the previous ones. I break it down into weekly tasks. It may not follow the exact steps of the pattern. So we may do step 1 through 10 first. We may jump and do step 30 through 40. Don't panic. I'm not losing mind. I know that I've done that, but I just like to sort of do things in an order that okay, let's get this done, and then let's move to do the zippers. Let's put the zipper pockets in, and then we can go back to the doing the recessed zipper panel or whatever there is in the pattern. It's broken down into weeks. Every bag or pouch is different in terms of how long it is. I try to break it up with as little to do as possible each week, just because I know everybody's got schedules. Some people have children, some jobs, just life in general. So I try not to have too much to do each week, so that it's easy, and that if you fall behind a week, you can catch up fairly easy as well. You're not feeling so overwhelmed by it. It's nice to have that and be able to look forward to have something to do every week too. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't get to sew as much, it's nice to know you have something to do. It's like, okay, I need to go do this. Let's go do it. And you know that at the end of however many weeks, you're going to have a beautiful bag that you've made and you should be proud of. And it's great for beginners too, because if they've never made a bag before, I'm there all along the way to help them and answer any questions they have, as well as all the members in the group too. They see the comments in the albums and they answer and they help each other. And then I try to also choose patterns that have your videos so that it kind of goes along with the sew along. So if they're stuck on a step, they just can go to your video and refer to what to do with the video. It just makes it a little bit easier and a little less stressful on everybody.
And the pattern hacks are part of the sew-alongs also, right? So a lot of the hacks you've done in the past. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I like to do where I'll do like a weekly challenge. So for example, everybody knows, or most everybody knows, I'm a little bit obsessed with sets. So I like to say, okay, let's this week make a pouch or something to match your bag to make a set. I'm also obsessed with pockets. So I'll say add an extra pocket, the week we're working on pockets. So I like to try and throw these extras in, little challenges to do every so often, just to kind of make things a little bit more exciting and change it up rather than just sticking directly with the pattern. And then do the pattern hacks just to give them a little something extra, something to look forward to. So I always say, while you can work ahead, just be aware that there may be a pattern hack next week. And I don't like releasing it until the week we're working on that specific part of the pattern, because I don't want people to feel like they've fallen behind or, oh no, like I've missed something. What did I miss? And then it just sort of causes panic. I try to keep it as stress-free and fun as possible.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I see Danny's collecting a lot of questions. So why don't we just jump over to the questions? Michelle's going to stay on with us for the Q&A part of the show. So I see a lot of them are directed to Michelle, which is great.
Oh my gosh.
There's multiple comments on the Frankenfoam.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Kim says, didn't Michelle have the idea of Frankenfoam?
So that's a funny story. So foam, as we know, is not cheap. And one day I was like, what am I going to do with all these little pieces? They're not small, but they're big enough. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these pieces? So I thought I'll zigzag. At first I was doing the shape flex, and then I found it came apart with just the shape flex in one of my bags. So then I thought I'll stitch them together. And I was stitching them. I love Halloween. So I was like, this looks like Frankenstein. I'm like, Frankenfoam. So I actually took pencil on some of my bags and I wrote in pencil on the foam, Frankenfoam.
Oh, really?
So I thought if the bag ever gets taken apart, it'll give somebody a bit of a laugh to see this Frankenfoam written on the bag, and I dated it and wrote my name. So if anybody out there has my bags and they come apart, you may have one that's
funny.
Frankenfoamed.
That's so funny. Michelle says, do you have a set number of hacks per bag, or do you just set at least 3 hacks per pattern to start? That's a great question.
I don't have a set. I think it's just whatever comes to mind when I'm doing a pattern, when I'm doing a hack. And my brain just tends to run wild. And as I'm going, I come up with more and more ideas, hence the persimmon dumpling pouch having a crazy amount of hacks. It's one of those things that once I start, I can't stop. It's like a chip, right? You can't stop at just one. You got to keep going and going and going, and then you build more. Every bag, I will admit, every bag of Sarah's, every pattern of Sarah's is not safe for me. I have a hack literally for every bag that Sarah has. It's like I keep saying, no bag is safe from Michelle's hacks. They're all going to be hacked. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it.
Yeah. Audrey says, Michelle, did you make the top you're wearing? If so, what is the fabric?
I did make this, yes. It's a polyester fabric with a stretch. I don't know. I got it at a local store here. I made this a few years ago now. It's a pattern. It's the Agnes Swing Top by Hala Patterns. It's nice. I have another one, and then I have a dress that I made as well.
People
it's super
like your wardrobe.
too. I like it.
There's a few comments about your shirt asking her if Dawn had a question. Michelle, do you make clothes too, or do you go rogue on those patterns as well? I might change that a little bit.
I have made some clothing. Garments, oddly enough, scare me. So another member in the group, Jennifer Sands, actually taught me how to get better acquainted with my serger. So I've made some pants, and then I've done pajama pants on it. And I was like, what was I so afraid of? This thing is like magic. It just zooms right through. The serger it's like so fast. So I've made a few garments here and there, but it's really, my love is making bags. Like I've done quilting, but I always go right back to making bags. Again, bag graveyard. If you saw my closet, you would all understand I have a really bad obsession with making bags. Like, it's never enough.
Kathleen says, if one is not on Facebook, is there any way to see or do the sew-alongs?
So usually I post on my Instagram. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll see the weekly steps on my Instagram. I post what we're doing each week through my Instagram. Just because I know not everybody is on Facebook. So like, for example, like my best friend's not on Facebook and she likes to follow along and, you know, see what Sew Sweetness is doing. So I make sure that I take everybody into consideration and I want all the community to be able to take part. So I use my Facebook and I post it on there. And then I know it's posted on the Sew Sweetness as well. So it's posted through there. You can find every week what's being done on my Instagram page.
Can you let everyone know? Because I did link to the pattern hacks and to I think the SVG files, which you've also done a bunch of SVG files for us. But can you let everyone know what your Instagram handle is? Because I didn't
Wait,
link
I got
to that.
it. Michelle Graham Sews. Is that right?
No.
Underscore Michelle Graham. What is it?
M Graham Sews.
Oh, M Graham Sews. I was so close. I do follow Michelle. I gave her a shout out in the past, and she's doing amazing on Instagram. It's a great follow when she's doing the cooks and stuff. So, good follow on Instagram if you are not following Michelle.
I like to cook and I like to share what I've made.
Oh, it cuts off the bottom. I'll read it.
Oh,
Michelle, I appreciate your willingness to share your own sewing challenges. I had difficulty with the bag yesterday, and I said to myself, "It's okay. I bet Michelle has made the same mistake before." I guess you share your mistakes in the group.
I think that's how you learn. Don't you agree? Like making the mistakes, that's how you get better. And
you know, I always look at it as we all started somewhere. We're always learning. You know, I'm always learning. If there's something I don't know and somebody asks, I'll go look it up to find out, like, what are they talking about? I want to know. So I just love that we're always learning from each other. And I don't look at mistakes, you know, in a bag as mistakes per se. I look at it as that's character. So if you get a wrinkle or a crease or something in your bag, that just adds character to your bag. That makes your bag unique and one of a kind. It looks like it's been handmade. You know,
and you
it's
can
not
make a
made on a
mistake
machine.
even as
It's made by you.
People make mistakes even if you made 20 of these bags. I know Sarah often when we film makes mistakes.
Thank you, Danny.
And I wonder how do you making this mistake? This is your pattern. No, I'm just kidding. But it happens to everyone. You know, I've seen, you know, you can be so confident, you become overconfident. I'll see in the group people will say, you know, I've made this so many times and, you know, I didn't watch the video or I didn't follow the step because I knew it was this, but they'll miss a step in between because some steps are overlooked. No, not just you.
I'm just saying I'm very guilty of making my own patterns and then the steps that I don't read, like especially when we're doing a video. Sometimes if I don't carefully read the step, then I make a mistake and then I'm kicking myself because obviously I designed the pattern. I think I should know how to sew it, but like you really need to read every step carefully, even if you've made it a few times. I say.
Well, I saw it in the group as well. I mean, you do it, Sarah.
Even with the paladin, the last one I made with the paladin, I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I forgot to sew the U that's in between the two exteriors. And I'm like, what's going on with this bag? Why is it's not right? Something's not right. And because I don't look at the pattern anymore when I make it. I just know what to do. And I'm like, this is why you need to look at the pattern and at least have it and just be flipping through the pages while you're making it, because you work ahead and you get so confident with it. And I'm like, oh, I missed the U. Whoops. But we all make mistakes, right? I mean, we're not perfect. We're human. So.
Yep. Sandy says, could we put a hashtag on all the sew along posts? Sometimes I have a hard time finding the announcements that are not in the files.
So I do use a hashtag for every sew along. Like when I had the day trip cell phone sew along, I had it day trip cell phone wallet sew along. I do use hashtags for social media. I ask everybody to use a hashtag as well. So you should be able to just search it. But I think anything that's posted within the Sew Sweetness community, the group, I think because the group is a closed group, you can't find it just by searching via Facebook. You can search it, though, on Instagram. Anything that I've tagged with the hashtag, it'll come up on the Instagram feeds.
Okay. Diana says, are there any hacks for the Sheffield tool bag?
Yes, there is. In fact, one of them is behind me. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know.
You want to grab it?
One for my Cricut Maker. Yeah, it's for my Cricut Maker. So I hacked it for the Cricut Maker. Heavy.
And that's Michelle's Cricut Maker inside, so she made it longer. And I think you left off the front pockets, right?
You had to make it, yeah. The front pocket is here.
Okay.
The smaller front pockets, yes, but you had to make it wider. So those instructions are in the file section of the group. I also have the hack for the snaps on the side. So it's got cam snaps here to help keep it closed. So if you don't use the frames, it helps hold the bag shape. And I believe I have the other hack because I made a Sheffield for an everyday bag. And I have the hack for that to add a zipper pocket to the front of the bag.
Okay. So if anyone has a problem finding it in the Facebook group, the pattern hacks, the file section is what you're looking for. Feel free to either post in the group or you can always email me. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. And like I mentioned earlier, every Saturday I'll be putting more of the pattern hacks on the website because there's many more in the Facebook group than I have on my blog, but weekly I'm working on getting all of those up there. Kim says, I want to take...
Maybe I should stop to let her... Sorry, I said maybe I should stop to let you get caught up on them.
I want to take the class for the Park Sling backpack. Will you have it again?
We have a video available.
We do have a video. I'm not sure if she meant the sew along. I'm not sure. But the video you can purchase at any time. The videos can be streamed from the website an unlimited amount of times, as many times as you want to watch them. If you want to watch it this year and then a couple years later you want to watch it again because you want to make another park sling, you can do that. So it's always available in your account on my website. Tina says, are the sew along instructions saved anywhere after the sew along has ended? That's a great question.
So yes, so what I do after every sew along is I take everything that I've shared, I put it into one giant PDF and I share it in the file section of the page. So you just have to go back to the file section and look for that particular sew along. And they're all there. Everything.
Yeah, they're all listed. Yep.
Yeah.
They're not in alphabetical order though. They're just, I think, newest first. So you'll just need to kind of scan through the list to find the pattern hack that you want in the file section. Erin says, Sarah, who is your favorite fabric designer outside of Tula Pink? That's a great question. So some of my other favorites besides Tula are Katerina Rochella, who designs for Art Gallery Fabrics. She has a new fabric line coming out, I think later this year with unicorns, so I'm really excited about that one. Barry J, who does a lot of magnificent floral. She's also a designer for Art Gallery Fabrics. Juicy Juice and...
Did you say Allison Glass already?
And Allison Glass. Juicy Juice and Allison Glass, both designed for Andover Fabrics. Allison Glass's fabric was on that Rockstar bag that I just made for the video. I had a lot of emails on what fabric I used, and that was Allison Glass Art Theory fabric. And who else? I like a lot of blender fabrics, so I like Moda Grunge, which is like a textured fabric.
Gucci Juicy is good for blenders.
Juicy Juice is good for blenders.
I like Gucci Juicy.
I like the Ruby Star Society designers, Melody Miller, Sarah Watts, all of them, Rashida Coleman Hale, they're all fantastic. And I don't know, I'm sure there's many more. I'm trying to mentally think through my fabric stash, but I think those are some designers in my stash have their own either stack or shelf. I have a whole bookcase of just Tula Pink fabric. I also like Anna Maria Horner. Amy Butler doesn't design fabric anymore, but I do like Amy Butler fabrics a lot, so I guess those are just a few. Stacy says, lovely seeing you, Michelle. Deanne says, what stitch length do you use for top stitching? So on my Juki, I normally use my regular stitch length, 2.5 millimeters. For top stitching, I generally use 3 millimeters. Michelle, are you using the same?
Yeah, same exact.
Stacy says, when you use Frankenfoam, does it cause weak spots in the bag? What do you say about that, Michelle? No.
I've never had any issues, so I use the zigzag stitch, not a super tight, not loose, but you don't want to cause it to pucker or have the gap. And I put Shape Flex over both sides of the stitches, so that sort of helps give that extra strength. And
Michelle, do you have any laying around? You had a few comments asking to see Frankenfoam. If you don't have it nearby, please don't go get it, because I know Sarah likes to run in the basement sometimes when we're in the middle of a show, and it's unnecessary. I was just asking if you had some laying around.
It's not nearby, but you know what? I can whip some up, and I'll post it with my file in the group. I have to rewrite it because I realized I never put step photos. That's back in the early days of writing stuff up. So I'll redo it and I'll add some photos so everybody can see what it actually looks like. And I'll make sure to use like a black thread for the zigzag so you can see it, because white on white you wouldn't see. So I'll use like a black or a dark thread for everybody to see.
Thank you, Michelle. Sharon says, any tips or encouragement for someone who is in the middle of working on the pattern but is not liking how it looks so far? I guess I'll let you answer this one, Michelle.
So for me, I've had this happen a couple times, and I think it comes down to, were you having issues with the bag while you were making it? Was there struggles? I always think just finish it, because a lot of times what you may not like as you're working on it, you'll end up loving when you're done, especially if you had a lot of struggles and you got it finished, because you can look at it and you can say, wow, I persevered. I made this bag. I did it. A lot of times it could be maybe you just didn't use the right fabric. You didn't use maybe the right interfacing, so you're not looking that it's looking slouchier. I always say just finish it or put it off to the side, give yourself a break from the bag and come back to it later when you have fresh eyes and a different view of the bag. Work on something else in the meantime and then go back to it and finish it. You never know, you may fall in love with something that you think you absolutely hate.
And I think I finished a pouch recently. When I started putting it together, I started falling out of love with the fabrics that I had chosen. I finished it anyway, and I mean, honestly, my fabric choices were not that bad, and I do have a nice finished project. Maybe not my favorite fabrics of all time with that particular project, but like you said, finish it. You might change your mind when you're done. It might be a potential gift around the holidays, so who knows. Dawn says, Sarah,
and what you don't like. Sorry, what you don't like, somebody else may love. What you don't like, somebody else may love, right? So everybody's taste is different. So like what I love and I put together doesn't necessarily mean my daughter's going to love what's put together. She's got different tastes. So you may show it to somebody else and they may be like, that's awesome. That's wicked. I really like that.
Yeah.
So finish it. You never know.
Yeah. Dawn says, Sarah, I recently tried to do another sew along with another well-known company and I couldn't finish without doing your tips and following your tutorials. Well, thank you very much, Dawn. I think all of us as a group, myself, Michelle, Bronwyn, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, I think we all work really hard to make sure everyone has a really good experience sewing the projects. And especially for the sew-alongs, Michelle works really hard to make sure everyone is successful in finishing and getting to that finish line. So we really appreciate that comment. Donna says, how do you get in the group? I don't know if I put, did I give you a link to the Facebook group?
Possibly. I don't know.
I don't
can't
recall.
see it in front of me right now, so
I don't recall if I emailed Danny the link to put in today's description for the Facebook group. However, if you go on Facebook and do a search for Sew Sweetness fans, that's our Facebook group. It is a closed private group. So what that means is anything that you post in the Sew Sweetness group, all of your other non-sewing friends on Facebook won't be seeing, those posts, which is nice. We can keep everything sewing related in the group, and you can post all of your finished Sew Sweetness projects to your heart's content. Catherine says, thank you, Michelle, for teaching me to sew and turning me into a bag lady. You do so much to help so many people. It's greatly appreciated, and your bags rock. I think that was what it was, the bottom comment. XOXO on the bottom.
Hacks rock.
Oh, hacks. I'm sorry. Sorry, the comment got cut off.
That, for anybody who wondering, that's my best friend. I turned her into a bag lady, as I was telling you, Sarah. So
that's why I saw her name from your Instagram when you guys were doing like your sewing work. I saw that was her name, so I made sure I got that one out. Mm-hmm.
So I've been teaching her slowly how to, make the bags. We started, I think, a Pepsi pouch, and then she did a paladin. And next when we go, there's going to be an Oriole and a dab. So slowly getting her into making more and more. I've turned her into an official bag lady. She just needs to get on Facebook already and be able to post her stuff in the group.
That proves I do follow you on Instagram. No, because I know that when you visited her last, you also left your sewing machine there. So when you come back, you don't have to bring your sewing machine back. Is that right? I'm like very well versed in the sewing community.
That's right. I left a
I try to stay up to date, with everything.
Eileen says, "Hi."
It wasn't my Juki. It was
the brother.
Sorry, go
right?
ahead.
No, it's okay. Hi, Michelle. Don't know if it's because of
was
COVID.
The brother machine.
But I can't get by Annie Soft and Stable in Canada, which is all I've ever used. What do you use? So since you live in Canada, also, Michelle, what are you using, or where are you finding it?
So by Annie Soft and Stable, I can find it at my local quilt shops. So if you have a local quilt shop, you may be able to find it there. Amazon does sell it as well. You may be able to find it there. But if you can't, there's Bozal Interform and Pellon Flex Foam. That's two other good options for a replacement for by Annie's.
The quilt shop that you said you purchased the Soft and Stable from, do you know if they have an online shop or do they ship?
Yes, they do. They're called Quilty Pleasures. They're in Orleans, Ontario, and they do ship all over Canada if you're wanting to pay for the shipping, obviously.
Okay, excellent. Lisa says, can Soft and Stable be used in place of Pellon number 71F? I don't often. I guess it depends on the bag. Michelle, have you ever made a bag with Peltex and substituted the pattern was asked for Peltex and you substituted for foam interfacing instead? Or do you usually mostly make foam?
For Peltex, I use. Yeah,
Okay.
It's mostly foam. I've never used Peltex for the bag. Like I use generally what you asked to use is what I use,
Okay.
unless I'm changing it for fleece instead because I want the bag to be slouchier. Then I'll go with the fleece. But usually, if it needs that body and structure, I use foam. I try not to use Peltex.
I guess it depends on what pattern you're working on and what portion of the pattern has the Peltex in it. If you'd like to email me after the show and we can discuss different interfacing choices. Again, my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com and that's Sarah with no H. Karen says, Michelle, do you have a hack for making the park sling wider like your son's backpack?
So I do, but I never actually officially wrote it up. If you want to know how I did it, you can always just send me a message. I'm sure I've answered this question in the group too, so I can find where I answered it so I don't have to retype everything up and I'll just tag you in that post. But I do. I think I made his park sling, I believe it's 2 to 2 inch wider. And then you have to sort of adjust the way you sew it at the top of the bag.
Okay, interesting. Robin says, how do we find the sew-alongs? I'll let you answer that one,
So
Michelle.
the sew-alongs, the sew-alongs are always posted in the group. There's no event to join. There's no website, no nothing. Everything is posted through the group. So I post through albums in the group, and I post in the file section too. So if there's any hacks or anything for that week, I'll post them in the file section of the group.
Okay, and that's the Facebook group, the Sew Sweetness, that's the closed group that I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
Linda says, when will the Rockstar Sew-Along be starting?
So the Rockstar Sew Along, I promise it's going to be soon. I had thought about this, and I thought with in Canada, I know in the States a lot of kids have gone back to school, but in Canada we're starting actually after next weekend. The kids go back, so I decided to wait until all the kids were back at school so that parents and even anybody who has to go back to work can have that time to adjust and not have to worry about having something extra on their plate and falling behind on the sew along. So I thought it would be best to start it when there was sort of like everything was calm again and we're all back into our regular routines.
That makes sense. Venus says, looking on Facebook for Sew Sweetness fans page, but couldn't find it.
So what I would suggest is go to Sew Sweetness on Facebook, and then while you're at the Sew Sweetness Facebook page, there'll be a tab near the left side. It says like groups, and then it'll have the Sew Sweetness sewing group there. That's another way of getting to the group as well. Are you doing
It's
some
called Sew
work on that?
Sweetness
No,
Sewing
I'm just-
Patterns.
Sew Sweetness Sewing Patterns
It's
is that group name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Sew Sweetness Sewing Patterns. I think I was thinking
If you go
of the
to
short link.
our page, it for sure will have an area that says group, and in the group you can select Sew Sweetness Sewing Patterns, 100%.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Yeah. Sarah, will you ever design another line of fabric?
Will I ever design another line of fabric?
It's not me asking, I promise.
I did design 2 lines of fabric for Art Gallery Fabrics. It was a few years ago. I want to say maybe 5 or 6 years.
I was gonna say it feels quite long ago. I
Yeah,
remember.
it feels forever ago. I learned a lot. I enjoyed the experience, but I learned while I was designing the fabric that designing fabric and designing patterns, for me at least, I saw both of those as full-time jobs, and I didn't feel that I could do both of those properly if I was doing both at the same time. So I chose the one that I love more, which is designing patterns. And I just felt like as a fabric designer, I was just okay. I'm sure I had a lot to learn still, but I don't think I will be designing any more fabric. I don't think so. I'm 99% sure. Laura says, Sarah, oh, that was the question I just answered. Sorry about that.
Yes, it was. I'm seeing comments. Maybe people are thanking you to Michelle from the group, always helping out, and I'm getting many comments saying thank you. I'd like to say.
Here, Glum is always helpful in posting links for us, and so Glum has posted the Facebook group link, so that's the link we'll leave it up there for a second, I guess. Thank you very much, Clem.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess why don't you leave that up on the page in case
Yep.
anyone needs to find the Facebook group. While that's up there, I am going to get over to the giveaway. So
Get away from the giveaway.
The
Oh,
winner.
before you do that, Sarah.
Did I forget something?
Yeah, when I was on the show last time, I said if someone could guess our guest, we were going to give them a $40 gift certificate.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And while we were in the show, I went and looked in the old YouTube, and I looked at the feed, and the winner is Barbara Friedel.
Congratulations, Barbara.
F-R-I-D-E-L.
Congratulations, Barbara.
Yep, congratulations.
Okay, so we had an extra giveaway this week. So the other giveaway from last week, which was the Rockstar Bag Acrylic Templates, we haven't received those yet, but they'll be coming this week. That winner is Carrie Lippert, so congratulations to Carrie. I've contacted Carrie on social media and just waiting to hear back from Carrie her address so we can ship her prize. And we have another giveaway tonight, which is...
Uh-oh. Get the drum roll.
8 yards of Tula Pink fabric, from various fabric lines, and all you have to do to be entered into the giveaway is answer my giveaway question in the comments, which is, what is your favorite card game or board game? So just type your answer in the comments right now on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you watch the show. I'll be drawing one randomly drawn winner and announcing that winner on next Sunday's show. And thank you again, Michelle, for joining us on the show.
Sarah, why don't you answer the question before we go? What's your favorite card game?
Oh, yeah,
board
I
game?
usually do.
I like 5 crowns. Is it 5 crowns or 4 crowns?
It's 5 crowns.
5 crowns is my game.
I think it is. Yeah, 5 crowns. I do like that game as well. I like so many games. I don't
Michelle,
know.
what about you?
I'm totally gonna say that I don't really have a favorite. Ethan's probably gonna kill me when he hears that, because he just makes me play anything, whatever.
I mean,
he
you
wants
love to play
is
with
what I
Ethan,
play.
and you're very cherishing his moments of time together with you guys, right?
Exactly.
So I tell my
So
kids,
he
like, get
wants to
away
play
from
Go
me.
Fish.
Are you guys 20 years old yet out of the house or what? I only got 20 hours a day. I don't got 13 hours for you guys. Gosh.
It's too much, too clingy. It's like, do you want to sew? Okay, I'm good with that. Like, we can
Perfect,
just
right?
sew.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. That I understand. That's a language I get.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thank you for coming on the show, Michelle. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you,
Thank you for
everyone,
having
for
me.
watching. We hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.